Hello, my name is Olivia, and I'm a second-year student here at UNT's Technical Communication Master's Program. Today, I'm going to be talking about my experience as an entry-level technical writer. I worked at Auctane, a global e-commerce company that offers a variety of web-based and API-based shipping solutions. Their portfolio of brands includes ShipStation, Shipping Easy, ShipWorks, ShipEngine, the PayPal Shipping Center powered by ShipStation, and more. My very first interview at Auctane was for a junior technical writer position, but I didn't have enough experience for the role, so I was hired as a support specialist for ShipStation Enterprise customers in October 2018. In 2019, I moved to an account manager role for ShipEngine, and I worked there through the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic. During the pandemic, I decided to go back to school for my master's in technical writing. And once that content team that I had originally interviewed with saw how serious I was about becoming a technical writer, they took a chance on me and hired me as an associate technical writer for ShipStation, Shipping Easy, and ShipEngine. And in April of this year, I was promoted to a technical writer, dropping my associate title. I'm part of a team of 7 known as the content team. There's 4 technical writers, including myself, a senior technical writer, and we're managed by our manager of self-service content, who's my direct boss, and the director of content and training. My team is part of the product design department, so we get to do a blend of more traditional technical writing and publishing for our help centers and writing user experience copy for product interfaces. When it comes to design copy, I specialize in writing for ShipEngine, given my past experience with that brand, and the PayPal Shipping Center, which is built on ShipEngine's APIs that also power ShipStation. For tools, daily, I use Atlassian's Jira for project management, and depending on the project I'm working on, I'm either authoring in Paligo, our CCMS, or Atlassian's Confluence, or I'm testing UX copy and design mockups in Figma. Our user-facing content is authored in Paligo and published to our Zendesk help centers for that specific brand. And all internal content, like notes on our integrations or troubleshooting guides for support agents, is authored and published in Confluence. I also use TechSmith's Snagit several days a week for taking screenshots and annotating images. And my team also accesses Auctane's GitHubs for information on our selling channel and shipping carrier integrations that are used by multiple brands. But my favorite tool is Airtable, which is an online database where we store records of all our user-facing articles in dynamic spreadsheets. Airtable makes it really easy to tag, sort, and link records, and it's a great way to visualize content strategy if we want to rearrange things in the Help Center, which we do during things like content audits. Airtable can also integrate with the other tools we use, which brings me to my first work project that I want to discuss. So Hotjar is a tool for user behavior analytics, and we use it primarily for collecting feedback in our help centers. Through Hotjar, we created a widget with a text entry box that slides out of the corner of an article, kind of like a toast notification. And in that text box is where users can submit their feedback or questions about a specific article. We have a JavaScript that runs daily to pull Hotjar feedback from the PayPal Shipping Center Help Center into our PayPal Airtable. New Airtable records are created in our Hotjar feedback table for each piece of feedback that we get. So every time a user enters something in that text box and submits it, which I then link to the article records in our PayPal KB articles table. So they're cross-linked. This way we can quantify the specific feedback a KB or knowledge base article is receiving. Every Monday, it's my job to review the feedback and link the article records to the KB records. And if the feedback is actionable, I create a task for myself in Jira in our PayPal Jira board to update the KB article based on the user's suggestion or need. To protect our user's privacy, I can't show you the view of our PayPal feedback table, but I can show you an example record that I created. So let's pretend I'm a user looking for information on post-billing adjustments from the USPS, which is when the USPS retroactively charges a user when the shipment does not match the details on the label. So if it's overweight than what's specified on the label, or if the dimensions are actually larger. And as a user, I want to know why I was charged. So I'm going to ask my question in the Hotjar pop-up, which populates this feedback field in Airtable where it says, why was I charged for an adjustment? As a technical writer, I want to then take this information and add it into the KB so users know where they can find the reason for their adjustment. There's already information in the article on how to download your adjustment report from your account settings in the PayPal Shipping Center. So I'm thinking I just want to add an admonition that just tells them which column in that CSV report the adjustment reason is. So I'll make a Jira ticket for myself to update the article in Paligo. And once I'm done, I'll leave a comment in the Jira with the link to the topic in Paligo and tag my manager so that she can review it for me. And I'll go ahead and change that in progress status to pending review. And while that's happening behind the scenes, I'm poking around one of our PayPal dev staging accounts to find an example adjustment report so I can create an annotated screenshot of that CSV column that shows the reason for the adjustment. So fast forward, and my tip admonition is published in the article for letting users know where they can find their adjustment reason. And this appears in the post-billing adjustments article, which you can actually see live if you go to that bit.ly link. And then once my update is done, everything's good to go, it's published, I will close out that Jira ticket and then update the Airtable record from to do to done. Reviewing Hotjar feedback is part of my weekly duties, but sometimes special projects come up that I have to plan weeks in advance for. So this month, we're adding DHL Express to our available carriers for the PayPal Shipping Center. And this project was announced back in May, but now that it's finally being staged by our developers, I'm so grateful for my past self for brainstorming and planning all of the content that needs to be written and updated for DHL Express so I can just be updating things on my side at the same time as Dev is on their side, and we can all launch together. My team writes documentation plans in Confluence using a template created by our management team. The plans are customizable, so I sometimes delete information that's not relevant to the specific project, like localization needs or a beta or MVP stage. And I much prefer using Confluence for this because of its styling capabilities, like adding admonitions and labels, and it also links to Jira. So it really acts like a historical record. I can't show you all of the documentation plan because it contains proprietary information, but I can show you my notes, which are here. So everything under full release is where I'm planning the new content that needs to be written. The main thing is the DHL Express integration guide, which I'll show you here in just a second, and all of the KB articles existing that need to be updated. And when I'm writing everything down that needs to be updated, sometimes that means clicking through all 40-something articles that we have in our help center to find every mention of carriers, shipping services, shipment insurance, anything that adding DHL Express will impact. And this is where my obsession with small details comes in handy because I even left a link you can see at the bottom that I'll need to add in one of the KBs eventually. So it's little things like that that help me save time in the future. I'll also record any outstanding questions I have for the product manager and the dev team. That way, when I attend sprint meetings with them and syncs, I'm not struggling to remember all of the things that I wanted to make sure we have updated. And I'll also record their answers and feedback here. Then when it comes time to actually write the content, I'll create JIRA tickets for any new article updates. So here's my ticket for the DHL Express KB. And since I already planned my updates for existing articles in the documentation plan, I can just copy and paste everything straight from that documentation plan into the description of my ticket. So it makes it super easy for me to know what needs to be updated. And then here, I can't show you what the article looks like in actual Poligo, but I can show you a preview of my first draft. And this was actually really efficient to make based on our topic-based authoring strategy, because a lot of this content is just reused, the procedure steps specifically. So we'll follow the same review and publishing process we did with the Hotjar feedback, where I tag my manager with a link to this Poligo topic and change the status of the JIRA ticket to pending review. And in this case, we'll likely also meet with the lead developer and the product manager for a technical review in case there's any details that they want me to remove or add from this integration guide. So you can see my guide here. We'll go ahead and skip forward to that last accordion. This doesn't have all of our styling that we have in our help center, but it has some of it, like our accordions and our images, the way that they're sized. I am a completely different person now than I was last March or even last January when I started at UNT. I knew when I started that I had a keen eye for editing, but when I think back on how overwhelmed I was when I started my job at everything I had to learn and how to navigate Poligo and how to understand our content strategy, and even how terrified I was that I would accidentally delete the help center somehow, it just makes me smile. I really wouldn't be here without the support of my team who championed me throughout my time at school. And they've told me they would attend a live stream of my graduation if that's possible. So we'll see. What I didn't have in professional experience when I started my position, I made up for an academic experience that I was simultaneously gaining at UNT, especially the work that we do with real clients and the portfolio pieces that we build. The very first class I took at UNT was style and technical communication with Dr. Kim. And the first thing that I did at my new job was review all of our team's style guides. So it was kismet, the way that they went together. My team at work also holds salon meetings and sometimes book clubs where we read about and discuss technical communication theories and best practices and industry standards. And I find that there is a lot of overlap between what we're learning in our discussions and what we're reading about and attending lectures about at UNT, especially with conducting content audits and developmental editing. The biggest challenge I face in my job is with cross-departmental communication. It's really hard for writers to synthesize information for users when we can't find that information ourselves, or when it's in incomprehensible jargon or dev speak. Right now, we're moving towards consolidating all of our internal resources into a single instance of Confluence. And my managers really advocate for our inclusion in sprint and product meetings. So that's really helped things this year. If there's one thing I could change, it would probably be our hybrid work model. I do like getting to work from home some days, and I really, really like my remote coworkers, and I'm so happy to work with them. But I think it would be easier if we were all in person just to speed up review and publishing processes. There are times when I have to just schedule a quick Zoom meeting so we can go over things. That way we're not getting stuck in a loop of just going back and forth in JIRA comments. Thank you so much for watching my presentation. If you have any questions or want to get in touch, please email me at oliviaarredondo@myunt.edu or connect with me on LinkedIn.